Hey there guys, and as usual I forgot to plug in my mic again, so it recorded with the shitty audio quality again, so I have to record this video again. Such a pain in the ass. Oh my god. So anyways, let's just get to the video. In this video we are going to learn how structure works with functions. So as usual I have already I have some code beforehand so I can focus on explanations. So it's pretty much the same thing as we declare functions and we pass parameters to it. It's just that instead of returning a normal integer or say a float, we are now returning the data type called structure student or struct student. We are returning our own created data type, and it will essentially return everything inside that as well. So this is the return type example, and this is passing the parameter. So this is how basically a function declaration for a function to have a return type of a structure. So this function has a return type of my student structure, so it will return my student structure data type, and this function is a declaration for having to pass your structure as a parameter. So in this case my print student function takes a parameter which is actually a student structure variable, or a variable of this, or you can say this, that's this. And so here we go. In the set data, what's going to happen is we are creating a structure variables, a student variable stud, and whatever we have given in the parameters, we are setting that value to this stud. Okay. For example, we are setting stud's roll number equal to R, stud's name equal to this N, stud's marks equal to this marks, so stud's percent is equal to this P over here, and then we are going to return that stud. Okay, and when we return that stud, all this is going to be replaced by stud, which was created inside the function. And then what will happen is basically when you equate two structure variables, it's similar to equating what do we call it, their different properties together. Like for example, writing the above statement is same thing as writing stud1 dot roll number is equal to stud dot roll number and strcpy stud one dot name comma stud dot name stud one dot marks equal to stud dot marks. So now you get the hang of it. And I'm gonna write here the above statement does this. So whenever I'm writing stud1 is equal to stud, it's basically taking all the properties of stud and equating them and assigning them to stud1. So it takes the stud's roll number and sets the stud's1 roll number to that. It takes stud's name, sets the stud1's name to that. It takes stud's marks and sets stud1's marks to that. So that's what's happening. So let me just keep my function call over here, which was set data. Roll number was 9. Name, we are going for my nickname called Ricardo, and marks we are going for 98, and percentage we are going for 88.2 because it's a float, so I can have a decimal number. And now what's happening in my print student function? It takes the parameter stud1. So when this function is called, this stud will now be equal to stud1. So if I'm printing the data of stud1, it's basically I'm printing the data of stud1. If I'm printing the data of this stud, it's basically I'm printing the data of stud1. So I have printed the data of stud over here. So when this function gets called, stud will be equal to stud1, this stud will be equal to this stud1. So this studs dot roll number will actually be equal to stud1's dot roll number. Studs dot name will be actually equal to stud1's dot name. But remember, this is called by a value. If I change anything in this, it will not be reflected to this. So this is basically a different variable, and this is basically a different variable. In this variable, we are making a copy of this and then using this to work with the data this had. So I'll just quickly compile it and show it to you guys. I'm gonna clear that was from the video I recorded without my mic input. I'm so sad, guys. I have to record again and again. Struct 2.c dot /a.out, and as you can see, it in the set data, because of the set data function, it set the value to 9, roll number to 9, Ricardo 98, 88.2, and okay, I didn't save it, so that's why the values were different. I was like, hey, why it's printing 98.2? I have written 88.2 over here. That was because I didn't save it. So I'm gonna just save it and compile it again, and now you can see it worked. So yeah, so it set the roll number to 9, Ricardo name to Ricardo, and marks to 98, and percentage to 88.2 for stud1 by using this function, because when this function got called, as I explained you, it will set the stud1 dot roll number to r is your 9, and follow similarly, and then return the stud1. So stud1 will be equal to stud, which essentially means the statements, and then print stud1 is basically printing the data of stud, which is the same thing. So it prints me the data of stud. So that was one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is by the use of pointers. So I'll just quickly focus over here right now. Don't see these functions. So if I have a pointer struct student type pointer star stpd, and to make this point to stud1, I have to do this. stpd is equal to and stud1. Nothing different, same as the things we learned in the integer pointer class or the pointer video. Now let me just quickly do a reminder. P, and then I'm going to make a pointer star ptr, and now we point the ptr to the address of P. And here's the difference now. For the value of P, we can do star ptr, right? But in case of structure, to get the value of something, think for yourself. stpd means the value of stud1, but stud1 specifically doesn't have any values, but it has some things inside it which has its values. So instead of doing it this way, we do it this way, that whatever the star pd is pointing to, get its roll number. Whatever stpd is pointing to, get its name. So now stpd arrow roll number will essentially be same as typing stud1 dot roll number. So this is actually this, and then this will be actually same as typing stud1 dot name. The difference is that this is used, this stud1's name, stud1 dot roll number, is by using the variable name, and stpd arrow roll number or stpd arrow name is by the use of pointers. So I'll just remove all this, and then we jump into the code. So similarly to our pointers to function or call by reference method, we give the function's parameters. We gave it a roll number, we gave it a character in for the name, and then we gave it a pointer of the type student. Here we go, the pointer is star stud. So now when we call the function, we pass the address of the variable we want to be changed directly, okay, and then in the function call, and the function is called, whatever the stud is pointing to, so the stud will be pointing to the stud1 because it's called and it is passed as a parameter. So stud will be pointing to stud1. So whatever stud is pointing to, get its roll number. So stud is pointing to our variable stud1, so it will get stud1's roll number and set its value to our number. Our number is 9, and similarly it will get whatever stud's pointing to, get its name. So stud is pointing to stud1, it will get stud1's name and set that value equal to n. And then, like in the previous C, the print data function remains the same. Instead of I don't have my float end marks, so I'm not printing float end marks, and I'm not setting the float end marks and percentage. I'm not even setting them, and not even printing them, because if they are not there, I cannot set them, and if they are not there, I cannot print them. That was pretty simple to understand, I guess. So I'm just going to compile it. gcc struct.c /a.out. And as you can see, it worked as we wanted it to. And if you want, I can change this values again. Now I am going to set the data to 1 and Cardo. And then I'm going to print it again. So we'll recompile it and quickly run it. So for the first time it printed me rule number 9 and Ricardo, and for the second time it again changed the values of stud1 directly by changing whatever the stud is pointing to, and changed the values. So now and then it printed me 1 and Cardo because I set those values. So you can use either the return type thingy or either the pointer thingy, whatever suits you the best. It does the same thing. And if you have any doubts about this thing, you can just leave them in the comment section below. I will be happy to help you.